Welcome back, everybody, to the Film Tangents podcast, where Edward and I are just now realizing, or at least I'm just now realizing, that the one of the lines in the original Ghostbusters theme song is "Bustin' makes me feel good."
Bustin', 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 bustin'.
Yeah. I gotta say, Ray Parker Jr., I must agree. I have to agree.
No truer words have been spoken.
Really? That might be the truest lyric that's ever been put out.
Relatable. Hashtag relatable.
Yeah.
Bustin' makes me feel good.
Yeah.
For anybody wondering what that sound is, I'm drinking because we're not sponsored. Look, man, as soon as we become a sponsor, as soon as we have our alcohol and beer sponsor, I will drink solely their beer, or at least I will pretend to. And even if I drink something else, I'll say that I was drinking that. But today I'm drinking the Topo Chico hard cider, specifically the strawberry hibiscus one. Uh, First time drinking it. I'll let you know how it goes in the next 20 minutes.
Very nice. Very nice. I've not had that.
It's pretty good.
The wall of beer from my birthday party that you witnessed and Jack witnessed, it's still going strong, man. It's we certainly put a dent in it, but that wall is still present. It's slowly being eroded as the weeks go by, but
Yeah, I would have to turn up with the intention of like drinking. Because every time I've seen you, I've been the DD.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's like I'll drink a beer and I'll then drink a bunch of water, so I'm cool,
Yeah.
But if I see you with the intention of not driving, then I'll help you tackle it down if it still exists like that.
Oh yeah. You guys should definitely crash here. Whenever we do a grill out, campfire, all that. But yeah. Anyway, that's for off the podcast. We're back, everybody. Like the video, subscribe, comment down below. Let us know what you want to see, what you want to hear us review. And today's movie is the latest Sam Raimi film, survival horror film, Send Help, starring Rachel McAdams. And who's that other guy? My girlfriend knew his name.
Daniel O'Brien, I think. Dylan O'Brien.
Dylan O'Brien, that's right.
Yeah, Dylan O'Brien. From the Maze Runner, I think that's what he was known for a while.
That is right. Yeah. Yep. Dude, I gotta bring this up real quick now that I'm thinking about those types of movies. Those like teen dystopian thrillers that were really popular.
That other one, Divergent.
Yeah. The only good ones were Hunger Games.
They were the only good ones.
Yeah. And so my girlfriend is currently downstairs right now watching the second Hunger Games movie as we speak. And right before
best one, in my opinion.
The second one?
Yeah, I think so.
Really interesting.
Yeah, that's my opinion. I want to see the second one in theaters, and I've seen all of them, and to this day, I still think that's the best one. But I could be wrong. Funnily enough, I haven't seen that movie in like 15 years. But me 15 years ago was like, this is the best one,
Yeah.
So maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. From what I remember, I think I remember reading the books like in 8th grade, and I thought the second book was the best one. But then the movies are spaced out, so like when the second movie came out, I thought it was good. I don't think I liked it quite as much as that first one, but then again, the first one had a lot of hype around it, because it was a prime. We were all at a prime age when that came out. Like we were in the demographic, we're
all like 14, 15-year-old kids.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, so we read the books and then the movie was coming out. It was like, oh boy, let's go see the movie. Yeah. Yeah. In middle school. Yeah. Show did. And wait, where was I going with this? Oh yeah. So before I came up here to do the podcast, I'm sitting on the couch and I'm eating dinner while my girl's watching Catching Fire, and the great Philip Seymour Hoffman is in.
Oh, the goat,
Yeah,
Phil. Yeah.
and so there's this scene right where he's talking with President Snow, and I'm like, oh man, it's Philip Seymour Hoffman, it's fucking
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
And there's the dude in just like a few seconds, I get this reminder of how great of an actor he is, because
Mhm.
there's this moment he finishes talking to President Snow, and then he goes into their little game makers control room, where they plan out all these vicious attacks they're gonna do on the poor tributes in the arena. And there's this moment where he goes down to the middle of the room and everybody's standing at attention, and he does this little like smirk and kind of flicks his eyes back and forth, and then he just kind of looks at his employees and goes, let's get started. And you're just like, and in that moment, he communicated so much with his acting, because
Mm.
his character, I don't remember much about the movie, but I could immediately ascertain during that scene, this character he enjoys this, he enjoys what he's doing, and he enjoys control, and he enjoys controlling the tribute, the game, that the Hunger Games that's going on, that's about to go down. But he's also enjoying on a micro level just controlling this room, and everybody in the room waiting for him to give them the okay to sit down.
Oh
And
yeah.
like so, and he just did with this tiny little bit of acting. He communicated that beautifully, and maybe that was the director too. But Philip Seymour Hoffman, man.
Phil is one of those actors that makes me like I choke up a little bit when I think about him. If I like think about him too in depth, I go like, oh no, because I mean that guy, man, that guy was so fucking good. Like
Yeah.
like few actors like are as good as that guy ever was.
Hmm.
And the performances he put together, man, in the movies that he put them together, the master, that is a very high bar for me. Um, the guy the guy couldn't put a step wrong. And every movie that I see him, he's always. I've never seen a Phil performance where I was like, that's not. Where I've not been like, that's like the best performance in that movie, or like up there.
Yeah.
Even in small roles, like even the small role that he had, like in Magnolia, when he was when he was just playing that nurse, or Tom Cruise's dad. Like even in that role, he was incredible. You know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolute unit of a man, Phil.
He's such a he's like I have these, there's actors, they're like comfort actors, where you see them and they're a sight for sore eyes,
Mm.
because they remind you of certain things. Like some actors remind you of your childhood, right? Like I think Jim Carrey's one like that for me, where I see Jim Carrey on screen in a movie and I'm just like, I'm brought back instantly, because I remember like The Grinch,
Mm.
Bruce Almighty, The Mask. I loved The Mask when I was a
Liar, liar.
kid. Liar, liar, yeah.
Yeah.
And Philip Seymour Hoffman is kind of like that, where not so much childhood nostalgia, but more like late teens, early 20s nostalgia, but
Sure.
even just current like comfort, where it's like he's such a sight for sore eyes. Like whenever I see him in a movie, I just kind of smile, because I just think
For sure.
about like all the great movies, from Paul Thomas Anderson movies to um, Coen Brothers movies to
Mhm.
some
Shit, like
great,
Hunger Games. Like he
yeah,
just randomly
great,
in there.
exactly, great
Yeah.
dramedies from the 90s, like or 2000, I guess, Almost Famous, to the some
Ah, yeah, that's
early
famous.
2000s frat pack comedies. Like you just get, he has such a breadth of work that whenever I
Mhm.
see him, I'm just like, ah, that's a sight for sore eyes right there. Philip Seymour Hoffman. And then I always think
And
about the,
his kid's doing it, like his kid's acting, which is interesting, and his kid's really good too. Cooper is his kid's name, Cooper Hoffman. I don't know if you've seen a movie with Cooper Hoffman in it before, but he was in the movie The Long Walk, the
the Stephen King movie.
Stephen King movie, and his debut was in Paul Thomas Anderson's Licorice Pizza. So it was very
Nice.
like it was like very much like a heartfelt thing, right? For Paul, who was like Bill's, I guess, like most significant collaborator, and with whom he made some of his best movies. For PTA to have his son be the star of like another movie, I think that was very interesting. And good movie too, Licorice Pizza. I don't think it's for everybody, but really good movie, really good, like kind of like hangout, like throwback to those kind of hangout like 70s movies. Movie.
Oh, I like the sound of
Um,
that. Yeah, I mean that's been on my watch list forever, but
yeah,
you saying that kind of sells it now because I kind of forgot what it was even about. Just
yeah,
knew it was PTA and the one of the few, I think the last remaining PTA movie that I need to watch. I think I've seen
yeah. I
like
think
every
so
other
too.
one.
Yeah.
Um. Anyway, all right, nice little tribute to Philip Seymour Hoffman there. Let's get into Send Help now, Edward. I got to set the stage here for this
Mhm.
review. I think because there's something that I have to say about this movie that will just perfectly communicate how I feel about it, and then
Okay.
uh, and then we can dive in. I This movie, like I love Sam Raimi. You know, he
Yeah.
gave us the Evil Dead movies. He gave us the Spider-Man movies. He's given us some great, you know, crime thrillers, such as I mentioned last week. Um, uh, Shit, I forgot the Billy Bob Thornton. They find money in the woods at a plane wreck.
Simple Plan.
Yeah, Simple Plan. Thanks. Um, Great movie. I said it last week. I'll say it again. I contend that it is superior to Fargo. If I think both those movies are very comparable as just snowy crime thrillers about covering up a crime. And I think I think Simple Plan blows Fargo out of the water. Um, although I am a huge fan of season 1 of the Fargo TV show, but that's neither here nor there. The movie I think is just okay, but yeah. So Sam Raimi, awesome, love him. Um, the Doctor Strange movie did a couple years ago was not good, but I always assumed it was just Marvel and studio meddling and all that.
Mhm.
Uh, Now in Send Help, there were a lot of there was a lot of great stuff setting up this movie in that first act. Uh,
Right.
the defining moment for how I feel about this movie came in. It was the moment where it was the scene where they're on the beach and the tsunami comes in, so it's like wrecking all their shit, and they got to go inland, right? And uh, you get this shot where the camera's in a cave, and in the background, you see Rachel McAdams and her co-star, the two characters. They're coming into the cave,
There's some spider webs in there.
and
Some spider.
exactly, and in the foreground, you see these spiders, and that was the moment that and the camera's clearly calling attention to the spiders, right?
Mhm.
And this is the moment in the movie of watching this film where I said to myself, okay, here we go. This is where it gets really good now. This is where it really gets started. The tsunami is going to force them inland. The beach is going to be gone, and they're going to have to, like, I don't know what, but get to the other side of the island maybe. They're gonna be forced into the wilderness of this island, and they're gonna have to deal with more feral hogs, other wild animals, spiders, centipedes, thorns, bees, wasps, ants, roaches, mice, spiders, whatever. And it's going to be awesome. And then the camera fades in, and we're back on the beach. And that was the rest of the movie. And we spend the rest of the fucking movie on the beach. And it just was like kind of a letdown, honestly, man. Like where I thought I think the strengths of the movie were I think it had some good stuff going on thematically. And I think the character development was really good. I particularly found Rachel McAdams' character very interesting. How, yes, the original concept of this unappreciated employee being stuck on an island, a desert island with their boss, it's a great concept, because particularly because the whole idea is that the employee is now the boss because they actually know how to survive. But what you don't get in sort of the pitch and the trailer and all that is her backstory, which is she had an abusive husband. So she's actually really craving this environment where she's in control, because you get the idea that she's doing trauma recreation and role swapping, right? And sort of getting like surrogate revenge for what her husband had done to her. So I thought that was really interesting. But what I said before, I maintain regarding the plot, but I want to open it up to you and hear what you think. Because on a plot level, after a while, I was really unimpressed. And just kind of tired after a little while.
Yeah.
Just waiting for it to get started forever.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like you said, we get introduced to her character, and she just works at this office. Like, the first thing that we see from her is like her feet. I don't really think that matters anyway, but I always like to note what the first shot of the movie is.
Yeah.
But it's like the elevator opening and her feet, wearing those shoes, and she's like works in this office, and she's just one of those ladies that's a workhorse, in WWE terms, like she's just one of those people that's always there,
Our listeners are like, no, please stop, don't mention WWE.
She's always there. It's a workhorse, man. She's just there on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. She's always there. She doesn't get injured, she's always there. And apparently the boss passes away. Dylan O'Brien becomes the boss, and he just plays this kind of like douchebag, like nepotism guy, like, oh, I'm the boss here now because my dad owned the company, and I'm obviously going to just put my friends in a position. I'm gonna put my friends in the position of power, not because they deserve it, but because they're my friends, and the nepotism, And this lady who seemingly has been working here tirelessly, screw her, it doesn't matter, But interestingly enough, her character has a little bit of oomph because she walks into his office. And she's like, look, man, I deserve that position. Your father promised you that position. What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And he just kind of like patronizes her. And he's like, well, I'm going to give you the chance to prove it. And I'm just like, dude, prove what? Like, it seems like a woman already proved her worth,
Yeah.
Like she did all the work around here. But regardless, that's that's what gets us going, right? Towards the inciting incident. She gets on the plane. And these guys are so like cartoonically like evil, or like not even evil, but like mean, and like mean spirited, and like bad,
Mm-hmm.
because they're making fun of her while she's there,
Yeah,
making fun of her little like Survivor like pitch video, and in an aware way too, because you would think that maybe they just thought she wasn't watching, but at one point you can see that he's looking at her and she's looking at him. And it's like, what the fuck are you guys are fucking making fun of me? I'm right here.
Yeah, I thought that was gonna be like a caught with his pants down moment, but he just keeps laughing and then turns back
he kept
around.
laughing, like he laughed. He was laughing like she was in on it. Like, are you fucking saying this?
Yeah.
Complete asshole. And then obviously the plane crashes, and she and Dylan O'Brien, who are the only ones sitting down and had her seatbelts fastened, were the only ones who survived. So I guess you could say that's seatbelt fastening propaganda in air travel.
Right.
The other guys met cruel fate, and she's in the island with him. And like you said, for a little bit, it's like, oh, like they set it up. She knows how to survive. She knows 3 ways to make fire and all this nonsense. And she kind of builds them like a little bit of like a little survival thing, and they have like little bonfire and all this stuff, and she's taking care of Dylan O'Brien, and then he wakes up and he starts trying to like command her, like, cause like you said, it becomes this kind of like power play thing of like who's in power here, and eventually for Dylan O'Brien, it's just this slow realization of being like, well, I'm not in power anymore because I don't know what to do. I've never been in this situation. So I have to kind of just relinquish myself to this lady. She like abandons him for like a day or and a half or something, and he just like gets sunburned. He's like dying in the sun.
Yeah.
I loved the camera work there where they had this continuous like panning or like this continuous dolly
Yeah.
of just his face and just this time passing and him being like, she'll be back any minute now,
Yeah.
and it just slowly becoming desperation. So I found that fun. The movie had like a lot of cool little gimmicky ways of being like, okay, we're stuck in the like, this section of the movie, and we're gonna have to get through there, but just have fun with the camera work or with the gags, and that was like, good enough. Like you said, that was like good for me. That was like good enough for a while, but it's like, okay, the incident happened, and now we're stuck here. Like, what now?
Yeah.
And like you said, it just kind of felt like the movie got stuck there, where it never became anything else. It was just like escalating versions of that, just certain comedic effects, right? Because like when he got really studious and he was like building a raft
Yeah.
somewhere. And then he like poisoned her, and he was like, "Fuck you, Linda!" And he ran out with the thing and threw it in the water. And he was like
Yeah.
trying to like get, he was trying to like get out of there.
Yeah.
Like that was really funny. So there was, they were trying to kind of just keep it going. But I'm sitting there watching the movie, just like you, kind of thinking to myself like, there's not really anywhere else to go here.
Yeah.
Like it just kind of keeps going in circles, like where Dylan O'Brien's dependent on her, and she, he tries to make some kind of effort to like reestablish dominance, and he fails, and she kind of punishes him, and it was just kind of like that, and then there was that instance like after he poisoned her where she then paralyzed him and she kind of threatened to castrate him. And then that was kind of it for him. He
Did
was
that
like
scene
gone
get
after
you?
that. No, because the whole time I was like, there's no way.
Really? I'm not
Like the whole
ashamed.
time I was like,
I'm not ashamed to say that scene. He tricked me. There was obviously
no.
a part of me in my mind that was like, maybe this isn't real. Once the blood spurted, I was like, oh my fucking god, she's actually doing it. Because the weird thing, I think this is what he was going for in this movie. Like, I started rooting for the boss halfway through.
Yeah. At some point, I was like, Dylan O'Brien's so justified.
Yeah.
Like after she killed his fiance.
Yeah.
I was like, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. She lost all like. They created, because I have to admit, they created like a great deal of empathy for her character.
Right.
Sympathy for her character. How she's being treated, how they're making fun of her. And there's an element of her, there's an aspect of her that's admirable, right? Because it's like, oh, she knows how to survive, And also, somebody being such a hard worker is an admirable quality of a person. Somebody who's working hard like she does. So you do feel for her, and you do find her to be like a very respectable person. But them putting her down the way that they put her down really earns you a lot of mileage for her.
Yeah, for sure.
But at some point, it's gone. At some point, it's like, Dylan O'Brien, I'm with you. Find a way out of here.
For sure. And Sam Raimi did a good job though, because that definitely was intentional. Because
sure.
there was a key part of this movie where I was like, okay, if our POV stays with Rachel McAdams, then the movie is telling me that I ought to still be rooting for Rachel McAdams, and this movie sucks.
Sure.
But which the movie kind of still does suck, but I'm saying that this actually worked. But the moment that he chases her into the woods and we cut to his point of view, I was like, yes, beautiful. This is correct in my estimation, where it's like, yeah, we're supposed to be rooting for him now. And I think I would actually consider, now that I'm reviewing it, I would consider bumping this up a point from the score I was going to give it for that, because even like when I watched this trailer, I was kind of like, all right, so it's going to be like a girl boss thing, and like it's just going to be that the whole movie. But the fact that we did the girl boss thing, and then halfway to 75%, we flip flop it and we go, actually, now you're rooting for the asshole boss. That was clever.
Right.
That was
Right.
very clever.
Yeah.
So because Sam Raimi, he's not incapable of making a bad movie, but he is incapable of not demonstrating strokes of genius in all in his movies. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
he is a brilliant filmmaker.
Right.
And I think that was. I don't think he wrote the script though. Actually, for this, now that I'm thinking
No,
about it.
I don't think he wrote the script for it.
Yeah, but even still,
But
I mean,
even
a lot of that is
yeah.
directing choice. I think point of view, like I talked about, and everything.
Yeah, a lot of it. It's funny with filmmaking because even when somebody writes a script, it doesn't mean that the script didn't, that the director didn't change lines or that they, So there's a lot of it that kind of gets lost in the sausage.
Yep.
Making process of the whole thing. But it was interesting because this movie, I have not seen a Raimi movie outside of like the Evil Dead movies or the Spider-Man movies. I've not seen a Raimi movie. I've only seen the first 30 minutes of Simple Plan.
Okay.
And I've not seen Raimi post Spider-Man. I've seen like the ending of I've seen the beginning and the ending of Drag Me to Hell. But I've not seen like All as the Great and Powerful, or I've not seen the latest Marvel movie that he did. Like I've not seen Raimi post Spider-Man like really like in a real way. So it's interesting because Raimi's style filmmaking for me is such like a 90s 2000s style.
Yeah.
Like even with this movie, I was like, this is such like 90s, like 2000, like like having the camera on sticks, and like using a lot of pans or like dollies. Like I would be remiss to remember like any like shaky cam, handheld, anything in this movie. Everything was like very like steady, like put down. Like I think there was like some steady cam parts, but I don't remember any fucking like shaky cam or any handheld shit.
Even when he's on the raft, it's like very fluid. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's fluid. At least that's how I'm remembering it. I could be wrong.
That's how, yeah, because I was like making an active effort of being like, is it gonna be just straight out Raimi the whole time, or is it gonna do like more modern shit? Like, is there gonna be any weird quick cutting, or is there gonna be any weird shaky cam or handheld shit or whatever? And I was like, no, it was just Raimi, including with the fucking what do you call those? Like jump scares. It was like all Raimi through and through. But
he always does
like
those like
said,
big zooms on the jump scares.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
He did it with Goblin and Spider-Man. He does it in Drag Me to Hell.
Yeah. But like you said, there was this element of the movie, and props to them with the work they did with the CG too, with the plane crash, and with Pumbaa when she like haunted Pumbaa and killed him. I thought it was like fine. I didn't think too much of it.
Yeah, I have something about the pig, but if you want to finish your thought.
Oh, go ahead. While we're on the pig,
I was gonna say like the pig scene is where I first actually started to think maybe the movie would suck, because I mean the CGI, it was okay. Like I agree with you, it wasn't like horrible CGI, but I just felt, especially for Sam Raimi, like at least on the close-ups, I was like, where's the big prop pig head that's
that
like
was just CG pig?
Yeah, I was like, what?
Where's
the animation?
Should you really eat that pig? The pig looks good. Disgusting.
Yeah. There was two things about that scene. It was that and like the lack of an animatronic pig head. I expected that. Like I'm like, but instead we get this close up on this shitty CGI pig, or whatever CGI pig. CGI in and of itself is kind of shitty in like movies like this. I actually,
for sure.
Like your horror movie really should have no CGI if you can help it, depending on what the subject matter is. I understand if it's like a cosmic horror, you might need some CGI in there. It depends on the subgenre, but generally, I would say if you can,
money, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm like, where's the animatronic pig head? I mean, you already made a dead pig head when she drops it, on the beach, but and then 2 was when the pig started like spurting blood and puking and everything. I was just like, this movie is it's like it calls itself survival horror, but it's like it's almost like a square peg in a round hole where some instead of saying let's make a horror movie, someone was like they made the movie and they were like, now because it's Sam Raimi, how do we market it as horror? Oh, we'll just put a
Because it really
few
was. Yeah,
gross things in there, because
yeah.
it's like, yeah, I guess it fits as horror, but just barely,
Barely. It was more like this, just like survival, like thriller, like
Yeah,
dark comedy thing. Like it.
right.
Because okay.
But
Like
because it has
like
some splatter moments, now it's suddenly
right.
horror.
But the whole time I was like, "Is this a horror movie?" Like the whole time I was like,
Right.
"This is not a horror movie. This is no fucking horror movie." Like halfway through the movie, I'm like, "Yeah, this is definitely this is definitely not a horror movie."
Yeah.
Um, Funny of Dylan O'Brien to just trust Rachel McAdams, and she was like, "Don't go past that, Big X." It's like, dude, if somebody told me not to do something, if I'm looking at an island with a woman that seems too like comfortable with the idea of just being there, I would be like, I have to go. I have to do a lap with this whole thing
Yeah.
because I shouldn't just trust this woman. Like I don't know exactly how long they were there. Maybe like a month or something. I have no idea. But it's like, dude, when he sees that house at the end, it's like this realization of like, oh my god, I was like, I could have left this like day one.
Yeah.
If I had just like ventured this far and not trusted this crazy woman. Um, yeah.
Well, that was the house reveal was another thing that I think bothers me in horror these days. A lot of modern horror movies is again, I almost think it's the hereditary effect where it's like all of a sudden I think they all think they have all these horror filmmakers think they need some kind of M. Night Shyamalan twist, you
Yeah,
know?
I was about to say, like it's really M Night is really who did this to horror movies.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, and M Night, he's a scourge, man. That guy. I'm sorry, that guy's a scourge on filmmaking. Um,
M Night Shyamalan.
Shyamalan. But he's but yeah, like this twisty. It's like, dude, go watch Evil Dead. There's no twists in Evil Dead. It's just straight up. Um, the presenting you a plot. I mean, there's turns, there's things that occur, there's things you didn't expect, but I'm talking about like twist in the sense of like, oh, what you thought is actually this. Um, yeah, it just like, why did we need that? Again, I would have preferred this to be like some intense ass Evil Dead style survival splatter film. The like the her my biggest letdown was that where she hinted at the whole thorn mess, and I'm like, okay, at some point we're gonna go through some thorns, and it's gonna be like
Hmm.
really gnarly. It's gonna be like the
Yeah,
tree scene in Evil Dead. And nope, she was just lying about that. It's like,
he was
oh,
lying.
goody,
Yeah.
okay, great. Um, and honestly, I'm watching it and I'm like, is this a situation too where you have an esteemed actress like Rachel McAdams and she signs on for this movie and then they have a different script and then it's like, oh, we got to change the script around because Rachel McAdams' contract says she'll only do like 3 survival intense scenes. Like,
Hmm.
you know what I mean?
Possible.
Because
Yeah.
like, I mean, some actors or actresses, you bring them in and they're just game. They're like, I'll do this crazy ass shit, I'll swim in this fucking thing, I'll
Hmm.
get dunked in a mud pit while snakes come at me, like whatever. Like the girl who did Crawl comes to mind. Like
Hmm.
that chick just went through crazy fuckery to make that movie you know
Right.
she was just down. But then like, I don't know, in this it's like you bring
Oh yeah,
in
it's
these
called,
two
what is it? It's
fancy act.
called Delario.
Yeah, yeah,
You just shout her out.
yeah. But in this scene you wonder if you bring in these two leads. Rachel McAdams is an A-lister, and then
Give me 1 second. Give
oh
me
yeah,
1 second.
okay. I believe there was a knock at Edward's door. Pretty spooky. We're talking about a quasi horror film here. I don't know, folks. Might be some funny business going on. Remember that movie, The Strangers? They would knock on the door, right? Yeah, they sent the girl to knock on the door. And then they'd answer it, and she would ask for someone. And then they would say, no, they're not here. And she would say, oh, thanks, and then leave. And that's how they'd know if somebody was home, right? Can't you just tell if someone's home by just looking at the house and seeing if there's lights on inside? I don't know. It was creepy the way they did it in The Strangers. Okay. It was. It was. Just waiting for Edward to get back. Well, Sam Raimi, folks. Let us know in the comments what your favorite Sam Raimi films are. One I'm interested in seeing, and I keep thinking about selecting it for Film Tangents, but I never get around to it, is the 1990 movie that he did called Dark Man. That looks pretty interesting. It's like a there he is. Edward's back. I've been talking to the audience while you were
somebody
gone.
was knocking on my door. I just needed to see what it was. I didn't end up opening it. I looked at the people. I was like, I don't need whatever this is, so I let it be.
Oh yeah. Oh dude, you got. If I don't know you, you have no business being at my door, unless you're here to fix an appliance or something.
No, we're not expecting anybody.
Yeah, I got one of the. I set up a ring, one of them Ring doorbells. I couldn't live without those now, man. I'm so used to just being able to pop in.
You can send people away with them. The Ring door, the thing can just be like, "I'm not here, go away."
Yeah,
leave your message to the camera.
Yeah. A couple of evangelicals come to tell you about the Lord Jesus Christ. You just nope. Sorry.
No thanks.
Yeah, I'm a devil worshiper. Yeah, but I've just been talking to the audience about Sam Raimi. Anyway, you know what I was saying to the audience? I was saying that one that I've been wanting to check out is Dark Man from 1990. I never get around to picking it for Film Tangents.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like a Universal Monsters tribute, but then also in like a superhero kind of package.
Mm-hmm. With fucking what's his name? Liam Neeson.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's in my watch list forever.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's been sitting in mine for a while too. Yeah, so we were talking about a movie called Send Help. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was just saying, like, I wonder if you get these two fancy Hollywood actors and these two esteemed actors. Yeah, and they're like, oh, well, I don't really want to do crazy shit. And it's like, okay, well, now it's just going to be a movie on the beach kind of thing. I don't know.
I don't know, but it really does beg the question, right? Because you have somebody like Sam Raimi, and you would think that maybe there is a version, like you said, of this movie that it just goes all out, right? Yeah. And just puts these characters like through the ringer, and like forces them into very uncomfortable situations. But it really doesn't, Yeah. It really just becomes like Rachel McAdams tortures, Dylan O'Brien for an hour and change.
Yeah.
And then eventually he like just stumbles upon like his dead fiance's ring, and he like pieces it all together, and then he confronts her. They have a big fight, and then she kills him. Mm-hmm. And that's it. That's the movie.
Exactly. Well, let's do this, Edward. I got a little activity right now. Let's come up with a better movie, and the way we're going to do it is we won't come up with a different plot, but let's say they did go inland, and we got that movie. Let's throw out some hazards that they run into. I'll start. Wasp nest. Crazy ass Evil Dead style scene. Whatever you want to do. Killer bees, wasps, swarm, and one of them is just this puffy, fucked up monster by the time they get out.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be great. Because that's the thing. Because at some point, like, and I feel like specifically, like, by the time that she comes back, like, at some point, by the time that they get washed inland, right? It feels like, okay, you're in charge kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like, okay, like, the point's being made that you are above Dylan O'Brien. and like we didn't really have to stay in the beach and just keep reinforcing that. So I think it really would have been helpful for that to happen. Like, okay, we've made this point. Dylan O'Brien is now being like, you're the boss, you're the survivor, and it really would have, like you said, it really would have been great just to see them just going through shit inland. Quicksand is what I would have loved for, like, or like, something where they're going to die by drowning, in mud. Like, I would have loved that to be part of the movie.
Yeah, you could even do like a POV shot of one of the characters literally going under, make it super
Mhm.
claustrophobic. They do that in
Yeah.
Barry. There's a character that sinks down in sand, and you just see blackness, and you just hear like, and it's fucking terrifying.
Mhm.
Yeah, you could do that. Great idea.
I love that. That would have been great. And so to be honest, I thought it was going to happen in the movie. That's why I brought it up. Like, because I was like, I just thought that in my head, I was like, this will happen.
Yeah,
It
that's
didn't
the
happen.
I know. That's the classic right there. Yeah. Okay. Something with snakes.
Yeah, I was thinking about snakes too.
Snakes.
Yeah,
Uh,
snakes or like leeches, like them getting like their bodies
yes.
covered in leeches, shit like
Yep.
that.
There you go. Leeches.
Mosquitoes, like something, just something, man. Just putting these characters to the ringer, just a little bit more, just to make it like really fun. But like
Exactly.
you said, I just don't think they were. I don't think somehow it just didn't seem like they were going to go for that.
I know. Leeches. That's a good. That would be a good scene. That would be dope.
Yeah.
The thorns do the thorns instead of making us
Hmm.
think it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
They're just twisting around in those motherfuckers trying to get out. Oh
You know what
man.
I would have? You know what would have been cool, dude? If there was another person there. Like, a
Uh,
third person would have been cool. Just like a random male or female, like, deranged person,
yeah.
That would have been cool. That would have been a cool, like, little twist to add to it too.
Right. Exactly. What else?
What else would it just would have spiced it up too, because at some point it's like, "Oh, it's just these 2 fucking characters?" Yeah.
Yeah. I know. You could do another. I mean, we did the boar with her, but I feel like you could have done
Mhm.
some. You could have escalated the boar situation somehow, like have a herd of them. Stampede. Boar stampede.
Or
Not bad.
Stampede.
That'd be kind of good.
Yeah.
There's so
Yeah.
much you could do.
Yeah, it's endless. Like, it really is just like the imagination of the writers, it's what bounds it? It really it even would have been great if, like, again, if not that there was like a third person that had already been there, if somehow one of the other people had washed up, like at some point was like, oh, that guy that was a jerk and took credit for her stuff, like actually he's also here,
Yeah.
and then you have to deal with him and Dylan O'Brien. So it's like, oh, we thought he was dead, but he's here and he's alive. They could have, yeah, they could have just done something because this movie felt like it peaked halfway through,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was just like, oh, I guess I have to sit here for another hour, 45 minutes, and just kind of
I
let
know.
them just see this thing out.
I know, man. Oh, here we go. Komodo dragons. They were near Thailand, right?
Oh, dude, that would have been hilarious. Yeah,
Yeah. And you get bit
let's
by
just
one
start.
of so like one
Yeah,
of them
deep
gets,
down.
I would assume the boss character would get bit by one of those. And then,
Yeah,
he's like getting gangrene as they're making their way across the island. You could have it
yeah, that would
be
have been great.
disgusting and horrible, but and that
Yeah,
adds a ticking time clock thing.
yeah, that would have been great. There's just so much they could have done with this premise, and
Wild
yeah,
dogs. I'm looking at a list of like potential threats on a desert island. Anyway, yeah, there we go. We just came up with a better execution for this movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
That
at the end of the movie, whatever, Rachel McAdams survives. Who cares? Like, really could have just been that. Like, they get to the other side of the island, and maybe there's a fucking hotel or something there, and it's like, oh shit. Or fucking Dylan O'Brien just croaks from all the shit that happened, and she just builds a raft and just jumps into the ocean and survives because he had mentioned that at the beginning, like, well, watch a show. The guy survived because he just built a raft and he like went into the ocean.
yeah.
That's like, so it's like they could have done it this like like multiple ways.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Then it just ends with one way or another playing while she drives off after playing golf. It's like, okay, I guess you set it up somewhat.
Yeah. Yeah, horror movie endings nowadays that's another thing. Like the endings are always just head scratchers where you're like, "What?" You feel weird like when you're done with it. You're just like, "What? Okay." You know? I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyway, what would you rate
yeah.
this movie?
Before we get to that, what did
Oh
you
yeah.
make of Rachel McAdams killing his fiance and the guy that came with her?
I knew it was coming when she like
Yeah,
was leading them. I thought again, my mind was on the thorns, so I thought she was leading them to the place with the thorns, but she's leading them to the lame, uninteresting cliff side, which that's easy to green screen and easy to do and doesn't require work, right? So again, that's where my suspicion comes in about like this just be a lot of this being like pampered actors not wanting to do stuff. I don't know, but
yeah, yeah. Because they're the marquee, right? They're the reason. They're the people that they're gonna put up there and be like, look, Rachel McAdams is in this movie, and the guy from Maze Runner, or whatever the hell that movie's fucking name was.
right, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Whereas like for me, the attraction was Sam Raimi, but again, it's like that's not going to be the general public, you know. Uh, and Rachel McAdams is a great actress. I mean, she's like
she's a good
Philip
one.
Seymour Hoffman for me, where it's like she's just been in so many great films
Yes,
that when you
yeah.
see her, you just think back, like you're like, oh man, she's been in so much great stuff. But I mean, again, like from comedies to dramas to crime films, action movie, like whatever, romantic films.
But before we wrap up this, there's a couple of things I want to say.
Oh well, just to
Um,
answer your question really quick though, um,
mhm.
when it got to that point though, when she's about to kill the fiance, and the tourist, the boat driver, I wasn't surprised at all. It felt like a natural build for her character, like a natural escalation. Because I mean, by the time she paralyzed him and pretended to castrate him, I really realized the level of depravity that we were
She
dealing
has,
with.
yeah,
Yeah. And I thought that was a good bit of misdirection at first, where you're like, oh boy, they're gonna start having sex, you know. And
mhm.
it was like, nah, that was just like
No, no,
Mister.
it never gets there.
Yeah, like that was misdirection.
Yeah,
But it was like sort of building to that, either way, because it brings an
yeah,
interesting question where you're like, oh, you're stuck on a desert island with someone. Like, how
mhm.
long would it be before you have sex? You know what I
Right,
mean?
exactly. Yeah, Daniel
Like,
Bryan, I guess he had a clear line in the sand, and he was like, "I'm not crossing this." But she was willing, like when he like made dinner for her, she was like unbuttoning her blouse, kind of being like, I'm
yeah.
available. Um, which something to add when he rescued him again after he like almost like drowned and she threw up on his face like repeatedly. I was laughing my ass.
Oh yeah.
And to me, that was so funny, especially because at one point he like woke up and she just kept throwing up on him.
Yeah.
I actually did find that really funny. But the point that I wanted to make is that when Linda made her sandwich at the beginning of the movie, she made a tuna sandwich. I am very knowledgeable about the process of making sandwiches. I made a couple sandwiches earlier today. Uh, and I am very knowledgeable about the process of making tuna sandwiches. I made a bunch of tuna sandwiches in my life. And
Okay.
the point that I'm making here is that it was just like a little nitpick that when she makes a tuna sandwich, she doesn't zip it. Like she put it in a Ziploc bag. She put it in a
Uh,
bag,
yeah, yeah.
and she didn't zip it. Like she made it, and then she just like folded it. Like she folded the plastic, and then she put the sandwich in her work bag or something. But I was like, it's not zipped. She didn't zip like she didn't zip. Go back to that scene when she makes her little lunch sandwich. She didn't zip it. Um,
I think you and my girlfriend watch movies in a very similar way, but we would
yeah.
continue that thought.
And then the other thing was that initially when she saw the boat and she like decided not to call for help because she wanted to keep because torturing and making Dylan O'Brien be dependent on her to kind of do this role play thing of her previous life,
Yeah.
marriage, whatever, and to assert herself as a dominant figure. Uh, Initially, I was like, this is a plot hole, you know, because if this is like a boat that's here to try to find these people, why would it not like circle the whole island? You know,
Sure.
at which point like Dylan O'Brien would have seen the boat. But obviously then they corrected because then it's like, oh, that was the boat of the people that were just refilling up the resources of the rich person's house that was there, that island or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but even then, there was an element of convenience because then even when the girlfriend, the fiance arrived, it was like very convenient that Rachel McAdams just happened to be there when that happened.
Yeah.
But even if I ignore that, when the girlfriend descended, and obviously there's plot holes in this movie, but when the girlfriend got out of the boat with the guy and with the tour guide or whatever, she said to Rachel McAdams, I knew they shouldn't have given up on redoing this area or something. So the fiance was implying that they had been there.
Uh-huh.
So because later in the movie we get the knowledge that that boat was a boat that Rachel McAdams followed to see that it was like they were just going to the rich house. But then when the girlfriend came into the movie, before the movie gave us that context, the girlfriend spoke as if that moment was like this like moment where they were doing like some kind of like reconnaissance, like just seeing if there was people there. And then the movie obviously like retconned that into being like, oh no, it was Rachel McAdams. But even then, it's the girl, the fiance still said they came to this island and they gave up, and that's why I'm here. Because I knew they shouldn't have given up. Which again begs the question of like, how the fuck did they not? If there was some kind of like reconnaissance mission there, why the fuck did they not see? Why would Dylan O'Brien never? Whatever, man. You get the point. You get the point that I'm making. There's a
I
level
get
here of just going along with the movie. It's like, okay, I'm gonna go along with the movie, but whatever.
Yeah, I guess the way I thought of it was like when she first saw that boat, but then it didn't end up circling the island. I thought, well, maybe it's just some person boating, right? Um, that I was willing to grant that to the movie. I was, because it looked like a commercial boat anyway. It didn't look like some kind of Coast Guard boat or
Yeah, and it was the boat for the rich house. That's how she
exactly.
found the rich house. Yeah.
Exactly. It looked like a commercial boat, that just a private citizen would be uh, using for recreation. Um, yeah. And then when the girlfriend says that, I took it to mean they had searched, maybe the area, but not that exact island or something. But yeah, if they searched the area, they would search the island, right? I mean,
Right.
they would have seen the guy's little help sign. They would have seen them on the beach,
Right.
which again is like why you should have had them go inland and had a better movie. But
Yeah, you would have. Yeah, because then you would have gotten rid of all that. But
yeah,
whatever. That's just kind of me just nitpicking like BS in this movie.
yeah, no, that
Uh,
is pretty legit. Oh, you know what bothered me in that scene too was like how willing the fiance was to just climb along that cliff with her and everything. It was just like you're not asking any questions,
any
like
questions? Yeah.
you're not like, okay, this is kind of scary. You're just like scaling this cliff and being like, oh my god, I'm so excited, we finally found you guys. And you're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is this? And why did the
Yeah.
boatman, the boat driver, go with them? Like, if I was the boat
Yeah. He
driver,
went with them.
he was just
Yeah,
some
he was very
paid.
willing.
Yeah, he was just some
Yeah.
paid like boat driver. I would have been like, any
I'll
boat
wait here.
driver would have been
Yeah.
like, I'm just staying on the boat. Like this, I'm getting paid for this. Like, I'm
Yeah.
just
But
staying.
then also even when she like killed them or whatever, I was like, why did she bury them? And why would she bury them in shore? How did she bury them? That seems like it would take a lot of effort to bury two bodies. And
Right.
also, what did she do with that guy's boat? You know, at the end of the movie, they say that she was like rescued because she was like floating in the ocean on a raft or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, what about that guy's boat? What did you do with that? They arrived there on a boat. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just one of those where it's like the second you start asking questions, everything just kind of comes apart. 5 out of 10. What are you rating this movie?
I would give it a 4. I mean, I kind of want to give it a 5 for the good
Give it a
character
five just
work.
because I enjoyed myself a little bit. Like I had laughs,
Yeah.
and I wasn't bored. Even when they were fighting each other, I was like, oh, this is fun. They're kind of fighting each other. It's like putting his finger in her eyeball hole.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
5 out of 10.
could give it a 5. I could give it a 5. Um, just on the basis of really good character work, and again, that flip flop where you start rooting for, the
Dylan O'Brien.
boss. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's send help, everybody.
Send help.
Appreciate it, and I
Send
hope.
help to Film Tangents, everybody.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Send us views.
Send help.
It's kind of freeing when you realize, like, oh, like we're not getting views. I can just like talk more bullshit and don't have to try
Yeah.
as hard. Like,
Yeah.
but
No, it's not our subscribers' fault. I bet, the ones who haven't seen the shows lately, I can only assume that they miss us. The YouTube's fault and the algorithm. It's been screwing over poor Rob Ager. He's been putting a bunch of posts being like, "This is what my analytics look like. No one is watching the videos." It's like, oh shit, poor Rob. It's happening to everybody, man. It's
well,
just it's
yeah.
just that this planet right now just cares about YouTube Shorts or TikTok, and we're old men making a podcast.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing. Like the problem is also the production value. Like that's the problem with us and Rob Ager. Like, because we're too lazy to do video, and like for other, I don't know, like there's a bunch of reasons like we don't do video. It's not that we don't want to. I think we just don't get around to it. We haven't gotten around
Yeah.
to like we don't really care enough to. Like this podcast is just kind of something we do for fun, but like with Rob Ager, it's like, dude, you're just some guy who like sits in front with like this like semi-wide angle of your desk with no microphone, just like talking to
Just like talking at the camera.
Yeah.
So in this last Kubrick movie, he was saying that at the hour and 45 minute mark, it's like, oh shit.
Yeah, and it's like, have you?
Unsubscribe.
Yeah, it's like Rob has no business complaining about that, to be honest, because that's his that's his bread and butter with film criticism and broadcasting and all that. He's got really no business complaining about that, because it's like, Rob, have you seen your ilk, like what they do? I mean, it's very simple. Like you click on a video and it's very clean, crisp audio, like what's coming in on our end right now. What the fuck is that? Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well, but also like then they have like all these different video essays and stuff. They just have footage of the whatever they're talking about on there, and then they'll also have like little graphics and stuff. So like the algorithm really seems to favor high production quality for longer things.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
And those thumbnails where you have like different faces and then big letters that say something. Like I'm looking at my YouTube homepage right now, and the title of the video, this first video, we know every character dying in The Boys finale. And then the thumbnail is Homelander looking at the camera, and it's got a black bar over his eyes. And above it in big letters, it says, "We already know, ... Like, so.
Yeah, that's the way. That's like the current way for the thumbnails to get people to click.
Yeah. And then below that, a channel I like, Smart Money Bro. And the title is "When You Get Wealthy, Tell No One." And then it's his face. And next to it, it just is in big yellow letters, "Shut up." If you need financial advice, I like Smart Money Bro's channel. He's like a middle-aged dude, and he talks about putting your dollars to work for you at a young age, compounding interest, all that shit. He has finance books and stuff. I checked his LinkedIn. He seems pretty fairly qualified to talk about this stuff. Anyway, yeah, Rob Ager's got come on, Rob, you got to step it up, man.
Hey, we love you, Rob. If you somehow happen to be one of the 30 people that listen to the show, no hate.
No, it's no hate, but that's a little bit of medicine, I think, that maybe he needs. I would actually like Rob to come on we should have Rob on the show, or try to get him on the show.
He's not going to come after this. These guys are arseholes.
No, I think it's so funny. Yeah, I'm like sitting here like it's a foregone conclusion. Like, oh yeah, we should just have Rob Ager on the show. No, I think the reason he wouldn't come on is because of how fucking tiny we are. But
yeah, for sure.
But I could see us maybe pulling some strings. If you want to see that happen, get in the comments. I think we would have some great conversations with Rob Ager. All right. Well, speaking of the boys, as of late with the boys, of the awful boys, final season, the boys' awful final season premiering lately. One thing that has come out of it for me is I've kind of been bitten by not the superhero bug, but the superpower bug, and just thinking about superpowers and stuff.
You
So,
caved and you watched the Marvels movie, the Marvels with
no.
Brie Larson and
Yeah, right,
that's
right.
what I hear.
Oh God. Yeah, I totally did that. No, I've been bitten by the superpower bug, man. Because the weird thing about the boys is like the boys doesn't ever make me want to watch superhero movies, because the boys it's making fun of superheroes, but and it's I could see some people who are ultra superhero fans also watching the boys just because it's more superhero stuff. But for me, the boys, it's not really about that. Like, it doesn't scratch the superhero movie itch that I really seldom get anyway. But it does get me thinking about like powers and things like that. So, I was thinking about, what obviously, dude, age old question: what would your superpower be if you had to pick one? And then I promise, audience, it's going to get more. I have more follow up questions. It's going to get more interesting than that.
Mhm.
But that's the baseline. You got to start with that one. The one superpower
Just
you can
yeah,
only
the
pick
one. It
one,
just one, just one.
because that's the
It's funny
hardest
because
question.
yeah, I did some work for this. Like you sent it to me ahead of time, so I wanted to honor that.
Yeah.
By using ChatGPT and asking ChatGPT to list powers, and then scratching my chin at the powers and eventually choosing one or a couple. So I chose like I have put a list of a few of them down. Um, First and foremost, the one that I put at the top.
Yeah.
And if you have more than one, like me, then you and I can like trade.
Yeah, we need to
Um,
talk about like other choices, like, because if it was hard to choose, what do you choose in
yeah,
between, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I have a handful. But the one that I put at the top, which kind of I guess is the one that I would maybe lean more towards, would be um telepathy.
Oh,
That's my one.
so is it you're reading minds?
Yeah,
Okay.
telepathy is the direct transmission of information, thoughts, emotions, or images between minds without using known sensory channels or physical interaction. So it would just be essentially it would be the ability to read people's minds, and maybe mind control would be part of that.
And you could
You know,
also
if
speak
you throw
to
some
people without actually opening your mouth
exactly.
too.
So
So
it
you
would be
basically have The
that. It would
Shining.
be exactly. It would be telepathy. I would like to have telepathy. That would be like my superpower if I could have one.
Mm.
Out of my top choices that I had to make, I think that would I put that one at the top, and that's obviously Professor X's powers like that mixed with like telekinesis. So I was like, I could be Professor X.
Hmm. Now, this is a dumb question, but I feel like it also serves to pick your brain. Why that one?
Well, I just thought of like what would be most beneficial to me, right?
Right.
Because I feel like a lot of people would go to like the obvious shit and be like, oh, flight,
Right.
super strength, and I was like, that serves me no purpose. Like, there's like me being able to fly serves me no purpose. Like if I'm being realistic and we're on this planet, like if I'm flying around, like the higher in altitude you go, the colder that it gets. And you have to have to be putting on like a bunch of like coats and stuff to be like it's like they did that in the movie Chronicle. Like every time they fly, they have to put on like jackets because like they have to fly. But also when you
Yeah.
fly, it's like dangerous. It's like airplanes flying everywhere, so then you're kind of messing with that. And then at the same time, with like super strength, like what's the point of that? Like I can beat Mark Henry's records or something. Like who cares? Like
Be good for
at that
self
point you're just
defense.
yeah, but at that point you're just a freak. And if I'm getting super strength, even if it's like good for self defense, like at the same time you're stuck in this kind of Spider-Man situation where it's like you don't really want to punch a guy too hard
Mm.
because then you kill them and then you go to jail. And at the same time what good is super strength without invulnerability? Because if you go like, well, I have super strength, buddy. You better watch out. Then it's like if a guy just like shoots you, then you're done. It's like
Right.
So it's like I went through all these scenarios in my head, and I'm sorry if I'm poo pooing whatever your choice would have
No,
been.
no, you haven't. You haven't landed on
Okay, so that's why I
it.
landed on telepathy because I was like, I think a really powerful thing that would probably make me like the world's ruler would really just be to have like a telepathic like mind control strength like
Yeah.
ability. That's why I chose that. What about you? What do you have? What are you hiding under there?
Very
It's
interesting.
like you have super strength, and now you're like, oh fuck.
Scribble, scribble, scribble. Yeah. No, no. I mean, that would be like, like so Soldier Boy in The Boys, right? He's the Captain America parody, and he has he's essentially Superman, but without the eye lasers or flight. Like he's kind of like Mr. Incredible or Captain America, where he's just, but he's invulnerable, but he can't fly or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he has super strength, right? So basically, Mr. Incredible, I guess. That's the one thing I can think of. That would be a good power, like so super strength combined with invincibility. That'd be pretty awesome. I mean, you would be king shit. You might not be able to rule
Yeah,
the world with
exactly.
that,
Yeah,
but you'd
because
be king shit.
if you have super strength and invisibility, because I know that you wanted to kind of like then have that step up of like combining powers,
Hmm.
but that's why I was like, that's why I was like, if I can only have one thing, if I can only have
Exactly.
one power,
Exactly. Yep. So I'm getting
yeah,
ahead of myself, but yeah. So when I think about this question, this question always comes up. It's like one of those just questions that always I feel like it's a question that comes up in group settings every now and again, where people just ask
mm,
each other, like, what would your power be? And
mm,
it's like I think between the first thing I'm doing is I'm like I have two competing batches, right? There's one that's just like the fun batch, and then there's the one that's like what would actually improve my life the most,
yeah,
Um and I mean, I've always thought that like this isn't my top pick, but I've always thought that like the power to not have to sleep would be so fucking awesome. Like for
oh, that would be
me,
interesting.
yeah,
Yeah,
for me especially because I'm someone who's like kind of obsessed and a bit addicted to like productivity. Like I
mm,
do like I have a lot of shit I'm working on. I and like sometimes you just like
you
you're
get
like, oh, I
tired.
wish I got done. I wish I got more done today.
Yeah, I've gotten
And
really into napping lately. I took a nap before the podcast. I took like a 15-minute nap,
oh
like
hell
a little
yeah,
power nap. I just
that's
kind of
oh
have
yeah,
to.
that's the length right there. That's the perfect length. Um, Yeah, so I mean, that would be pretty awesome because what I would do is then I would do all my productive shit at night, and then during the day I would just fuck around, and people would be like, "How the fuck does Jake get so much done?" Like every time I see him, he's
Mm,
just doing something fun. Like he's always got a beer in his hand, or like he's always like just chilling, or he's like doing something
yeah.
cool.
Oh yeah,
But
dude, you
but
can
but then he's got
maximize.
like yeah, but then he's got like a book coming out too. It's like when I never see him do any of this stuff, that would be kind of
Yeah,
cool.
I do
Um,
maximize, dude.
hell yeah. Um, what would yeah, I guess like the power that would most improve your life would be like clairvoyance, right? Because then you could just pick the future prediction, yeah. Because then or
Mm.
knowing the future, because then you could just predict like the lottery numbers and
Yeah, for sure. I thought about clairvoyance because that was like that was like one of them, and I looked at that and like somehow like there was like something in my head. Call it whatever you want, but there was something in my head that was like that's it's like that's not a superpower. Like somehow because there was like
yeah,
there was
yeah,
like
yeah,
time travel was one of them, and I was like that doesn't even sound like a superpower to like time travel, you
yeah.
know. And so because of that, I was like, I didn't choose that. I was like, I'm not gonna choose that because like somehow that doesn't. It felt to me like it didn't qualify. Somehow it felt like it didn't
It's
qualify.
too
So I just
magical.
left. Yeah, so I
Yeah,
just left it alone.
time travel is that's like the one, right? Where it
It's
would
too
be like
OP. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Um, And clairvoyance, though, I mean, because then I feel like then you'd be like having some vision of like the nuclear apocalypse, and you're like, oh my god, and they like lock
Right.
you up because you're like seeing
Yeah.
atom bombs go off.
Yeah, it's like how far can you see? Maybe if you can see like a day ahead, that would be pretty interesting. Like you can see a day ahead.
Right, right.
And
And then, like the fun ones, I mean, flight, yeah, flight would be fucking awesome. I mean, who wouldn't want to fly, right?
yeah.
Um, it would be so cool, but it is like it's a frivolous power. It's like
Mhm.
this would get me places faster. My girlfriend said teleportation. She could just travel
That's on my
places.
list. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's actually my number 3. I had teleportation, and I wrote
Nice.
Goku and that movie Jumper. You know that movie Jumper where they like jump and teleport to places.
Yeah.
Um, I thought teleportation was really cool because I actually would love to teleport more than I would love to fly, because that just saves you. Then you don't even have to fly anywhere. You know, because in Dragon Ball, Goku goes like this. He like puts his fingers in his head to like sense a person, and then he like teleports to them because he can sense people's like energy, and he can teleport to them. And I was like, that
Uh,
would be great if I could just teleport places. I would just appear at people's houses.
oh, hell yeah.
You know? Yeah. So that's in my list. Teleportation. I think that's a pretty cool one.
Yeah. I would say invincibility, like invulnerability, having Superman's invulnerability, or I guess like the movie Unbreakable, because then you wouldn't have to worry about physical danger ever again,
Hmm.
right? Because,
For sure.
like in this society, we are privileged to not worry about that too much. But I mean, there is still physical danger. Like there's risk of injury, there's car accidents, right? There are physically dangerous things that could kill us. And
Yeah.
we may very well be like on our way to that very death of some type of physical bodily injury that leads to death, right? It's an
Yeah.
unfortunate reality of life, and you wouldn't have to worry about that. And then you wouldn't have to worry about like defending yourself, or you just still have to worry about defending people you care about, but you wouldn't have to worry about like just fucking walk down a dark alley, and if someone pops out and says, "Give me your wallet," you tell them to eat shit. Go take a shit. How about that?
Yeah.
They empty that clip it, and you laugh it
Yeah.
off, and maybe you kick their ass and call the police, make a citizen's arrest.
Yeah.
Um, the power that I always land on though would be invisibility.
Yeah. I had
Invisibility.
invisibility. I had invisibility on my list.
Because think about how many things in this
Invisible
world
man.
that you're curious about. It's similar to telepathy, where telepathy is more powerful because you are just going directly into someone's mind. But invisibility would be so much fun. Think about how many places you could go that you're just not supposed to be, but you're there. People are listening to this like, oh, this guy's a creeper. No, I'm not talking about a creepy. I mean, it's inherently creep. It is
It
inherently
is inherently
creepy.
creepy, yeah, because you're places people don't know you're there, you know.
Dude, you could haunt people you
But
dislike who
now
have
a
pissed you
question:
off in the
with
past.
this invisibility, would it be you know literally like in the Invisible Man?
You could turn it. You just turn it on and off at will, like where you just
Okay,
and
but the
you're
point,
that you have to be naked.
yeah.
No, no. So I'm
Okay, so your clothes
dispensing.
go invisible with you.
Yeah, I'm dispensing with all those dumb limitations. Like you
The,
could
the,
just
the reason why I had invisibility like low on my list is because if it feels like invisibility needs to be like accompanied by like some kind of like ghosting function, or you can also like just go through walls, because if you
exactly.
can't do that, then it kind of feels funky because you have to like access places. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like in order to if you want to go spy on somebody, like, you still got to get into where they are, right?
Exactly.
I think it's easier done than said though when you really think about it, because like you think about
Yeah.
that movie The Invisible Man, like that guy was just getting in everywhere.
Just getting in places.
And
Yeah.
it's not the original. Well, the original too, but I was actually thinking about the Lee 1L one just now, and
Yeah.
I mean that guy's getting in everywhere, and it never seems like he wouldn't have been able to. Like, it always just kind of seems like, yeah, of course, he slipped by somebody, piggybacked, right? Like, you
Yeah.
know. But yeah, because think about how many times you've wanted to be a fly on the wall or know like what, so and so's doing behind closed doors. I mean, yeah, the possibilities are endless. You could travel for free, dude. Get on an airplane,
Yeah, for sure.
invisible.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
shit. You know,
Yeah.
you might be a little cramped, but you could figure it out. Get on an airplane while invisible. Go into restricted areas. Uh, Dude, I mean, come on. Use your imaginations. Do I need to
Yeah.
list things out for you? You can think about all kinds of shit. But
Yeah.
that would probably be the one I would pick. You know?
Yeah. You would go for invisibility.
Mm-hmm.
And I would go for telepathy. Everybody make of that what you will.
Yeah.
You can read into our character.
Both
Based
very
on-
invasive.
Yeah, yeah. One of us wants to read people's minds, and the other guy wants to be a fly on the wall in
Yeah.
rooms.
Well, this kind of goes with invisibility, but the reason I don't pick telepathy is because I would get tempted to like know what other people are thinking, but I don't really want to. I don't really want to know what other people are thinking. A lot of times, like I don't know. Like I don't want to know if someone actually thinks something shitty about me. I don't really want to know it. I don't think. Like it's not
Yeah.
really, like, oh, this person actually thinks you're a douche. It's like,
Douche.
eh,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really want to hear that.
Yeah.
If it's someone I don't give
Yeah.
a shit about, it'd be kind of funny to hear it. But um. All right. What? Anything else before we go on to the next one?
No, that's it. My list consisted of telepathy, telekinesis, invincibility, teleportation, electrical powers, and then I had magic. But I don't think magic's too broad.
Magic. That can mean anything.
Anything. Exactly. So I was like, that's too broad. But yeah. Yeah. But I was like, I thought the power to control electricity was cool. Like if I was like Electro from Spider-Man. But yeah.
That would be cool. That would be cool. Yeah, I mean, what? Like, there's got to be flight. Yeah, flight's flight is definitely the completely frivolous one where it's like, man, yeah, that would be fucking so awesome. But you're right with the airplane thing. Like, that actually is no joke. I mean,
Yeah. No, that's how you get got. And like you may because the thing is when we're choosing one, if I can fly but I don't have invulnerability, then it's like I'm just gonna if anything hits me, then I'm done. I'm toast.
Yeah. Telekinesis would be good too, because then when you're comfortable, but you want to like grab the remote, but it's out of reach, you can just
Yeah, it's just having the force. Yeah, it's like, oh, it'd be great to have the force.
Yeah. Yeah.
Choke people without having to like go and actually choke them. But it was like, how did he die? He just started breathing, and the whole time you're like, don't kill him.
Oh, fuck!
From all the way over here.
Call the police. All right. The next one was the next question we had was a set of powers. Now, what this is for the folks listening is it has to match an existing fictional character. So you can't just say like, oh, I'd want like eye lasers plus ice powers. It's like, no, it's got to match a fictional character that you can actually put to paper. So what would yours be, Edward?
Well, I thought, I am not like that big of like a fan of comics. Like I'm not really like well versed on comics. Like I don't really know a lot of the characters. I really just know whatever's popular. Like Spider-Man, Iron Man, Superman, Batman, Wolverine. So I just really just know those guys. So the stuff that I really am knowledgeable of is like mostly like anime. Whereas like I've seen, Naruto or Hunter x Hunter or like any of these other shows that I've seen. And I thought that it would be great to be Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop. No. I thought that if I could be Goku from Dragon Ball, that would really be like that would kind of just do it. I was like, that would do it. Like if I could be Goku, that would do it. Because Goku has superhuman strength, superhuman speed, superhuman durability, enhanced reflex, extreme stamina, endurance, flight. heat sensing, so he can detect people's energy suppression and control, rapid combat adaptation, Senkai boost, meaning that you get stronger the more damage that you take. Saiyan metabolism, he can survive like in the sun, for instance, and then he also has what do you call that? He also has telepathy. He has telepathy. He has teleportation. He can teleport like between like into a different planet or a different universe. So I was like, I could just be this guy.
So
If
he's
I'm
got
Goku,
every power,
yeah, he
basically.
can like because he can fly. He can do the Kamehameha. He can do anything. Like the guy has everything.
He has
So I was like, if I could
telepathy. He
just
can
be,
read minds.
yeah, he can read minds and he can communicate with people in their minds. There's like instances in the show where he does that, and obviously he teleports. And most of all, the coolest thing is that I could go Super Saiyan. If there's anything that I ever wanted to do when I was a kid, like in terms of like superpower things, is that I would have loved to throw a Kamehameha, and I would have loved to go Super Saiyan. So that would give me the ability of going Super Saiyan and to throwing Kamehamehas. And I can exist in space without having to breathe. I can go to the sun. I can fly. I have superhuman strength. I can do anything. I feel like being Goku is being like better than Superman because then you can
Oh
actually do
yeah,
magic shit, and you can teleport, and you can read people's minds. So
yeah,
I think I would be Goku for sure.
yeah. Superman can't do any of that shit. He can time travel by flying really fast around the world in the opposite
Backwards, yeah, making
direction,
the
but
Earth spin backwards. Like that wouldn't just kill everybody instantly.
right, it would throw everybody from the
Instantly.
face of the planet.
Like I've
Just,
seen a video.
just
Like there's a
even the
video.
act of it merely switching direction, like not even just
Exactly. It would
stopping.
just
It's
kill everybody. It would just end
yeah,
everybody's existence. I saw a video of like what would happen if the Earth stopped spinning, like even a fraction of a second,
yeah,
and it basically would just be like everybody just splatters. Everybody just goes splat. Everybody just dies.
yeah. It's like when a car going 90 instantly stops, but you're still going 90, so you
Exactly.
fly through
So,
the windshield or whatever.
so in that movie, Superman really killed everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I'll be Goku. That's who I would be. That's my choice.
Yeah. Another good frivolous one while I'm looking at a list here is metamorphosis, shape shifting, mystique. Like that would be kind of cool.
Oh
But
yeah, that'd be good. That'd be great.
yeah. I mean, well, you could certainly frame some people. You could certainly do some frame jobs. Here's a good one. Edward. Jean Grey, empathy. That'd be a good power to have, empathy.
Oh sure, like that's the only thing she has.
Yeah, to the ability to actually put yourself in another person's shoes and understand what someone else is going through. I'd probably
Yeah.
have that power. That'd be a good one.
Yeah, I don't need that. I feel like I have too much of that already. Yes, I don't need that power.
Yeah, and I'm obviously joking. Or am I? Nobody knows.
Or is he?
No. All you got to know about me is I have no desire to go hunting because, dude, little animals, man. I put myself in their little paws.
Yeah, we got indoctrinated by those Disney movies, man. We watched Bambi one too many times.
For real.
101 Dalmatians.
Yeah. You know how they talk about putting yourself in another person's shoes. Like I put myself in those little hooves or paws, and I'm like, I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
No intention of ever killing small animals or large animals out in the woods with rifles. No, sir.
Yeah.
No intention. Okay, my power combo. So you said, yeah, okay, Goku. Yeah. I mean that's the friggin' ultimate. I mean, you'd rule the universe with that. Seems like they overpowered that guy. Well, not seem. They definitely did.
Yeah, for me, I would have to be either Goku or like Meruem from Hunter x Hunter. It would be one of those two guys. I would be one of those two guys. If you have either of those if you're either of those entities, then you're basically like a god creature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, my combo. I've thought about this a good bit, and I thought of like it sort of was an offshoot of invisibility, where I was like, yeah, invisibility would be cool, and you hinted at it, dude. Passing through things. I would want the powers. The best power combo that I can really think of, besides something like Goku or Superman, right? Where like you got these ultimate power combos that are fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But if we're just talking about like just a sweet ass combo. I gotta say, Ghost Freak from Ben 10. You remember Ghost Freak? That alien from Ben 10?
Let me look it up. If I see it, I'll know because I knew the names in Spanish. Let me
Yeah.
see. Yeah.
What'd they
Yeah.
call him in Spanish? Like Phantasma
I don't
Freakazo or
remember.
something?
Yeah. I don't even remember the name of this thing in Spanish.
Okay.
Spanish. I'm trying to like find it out. Fantasmático. That was his name.
There we go. Okay, I was close.
We're close. Yeah. What were his powers? Remind me.
The second half of that, by the way, everybody was Spanglish. I didn't. Phantasmo Freakazo.
Fantasmo Freakazo. Fantasmático.
That's classic Spanglish right there. Ghost Freak's powers are many. First of all, obviously, invisibility, right? He's also, though, he's able to travel through walls, so he can make himself intangible. And he can fly. Invisibility, passing through walls, and you're able to fly. But he also has telepathy.
Look at him.
And mind control with that as part of that telepathy. Body possession, so he can possess people. So there's your shapeshift. You don't even need to shapeshift. Just take the actual body. I don't think I'd want to do that, but it's an option. He's got a movable eye track. I don't think I really want to do that, but he's got like a single green eye. It can move all over his body. But he can project concentrated beams of energy from his hands or tentacles. I will have no tentacles. I won't take his form. I just want his powers. Telekinesis. He can move heavy objects and manipulate his surroundings using only his mind. That's a hell of a combo. That is a hell of a combo. Invisibility, passing through walls, telepathy, and mind control. Shooting an energy beam.
Yeah,
and
it's always great to shoot energy beams, dude.
Yeah, and lifting things with your mind.
Somebody
flight.
from
I don't know if I said that already, but flight.
Somebody from comics that you could be, which I also. This is like from the comics. This is like the one guy that I thought I was like I could be that guy. It was the Martian Manhunter. You could be the Martian Manhunter because he also does that same shit. Like he has like invisibility and facing, so he's like a ghosting guy.
Yeah,
he has shape shifting, invisibility. He has facing, invulnerability, superhuman strength, regeneration, flight, superhuman speed, longevity. So he lives a really long time. Super hearings, enhanced senses, telepathy, including illusions, possessions, astral projection, mind control, animal control, telepathic relay, telepathic assault, thought sensing, telekinesis, and matter absorption. He can absorb matter into his own mass. I thought that guy was really cool.
Yeah, that's a pretty good freaking combo. I wouldn't have been able to even tell you what before you said all that what Martian Manhunter's superpowers were. But
he's a cool guy, man.
Yeah, it's kind of funny they never adapted him into anything. Like he wasn't in the Justice League movies and
well, that's where the nerd that goes actually would correct you. Because if you remember in the Snyder cut of the Justice League, he's in the very end of the movie.
Oh, is he?
Mm-hmm.
Is he in that? Oh, he's in that. It's like the apocalyptic scene with the Joker.
No, he's like actually in the movie. Like at the end of the movie, there is a scene where he goes and talks to Ben Affleck.
Oh, okay.
Like Ben Affleck, it's like skinny Ben Affleck, so it's like clearly like a reshoot. And Ben Affleck goes out to like his like patio or something. He's like on a lake.
Yeah.
And Martian Manhunter like comes out and talks to him. They talk about some BS.
Oh wow, okay.
Martian and in that movie, it's also implied that he. Or not even implied. It's like shown that if you Google Martian Manhunter, there's like a live action image of him that looks really like scary.
Yeah, there he is. That is scary.
That's him in the movie. Yeah, that's him in the movie. Because at some point there's like a scene where like somebody talks to, the lady that plays Lois Lane, somebody talks to her, and it's revealed that it was like Manson Manhunter, like pretending to be like a police officer or something like that.
Oh, interesting. Wow.
Yeah,
I do
he's
remember.
been in live action. He just doesn't have his own movie.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. I do remember this now. Well, be that as it may, he wasn't actually in the Justice League, like
No, he
in
wasn't
their
in the
group.
Justice League.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's funny. You know, the Snyder cut really was magical, man. That was good stuff. I like
yeah,
that.
that's a good movie. That was a
I
good movie. I really enjoyed watching that movie.
Yeah. I love Zack Snyder's vision for DC. Like he to me, in my estimation, he did with DC in the Snyder cut specifically. He achieved with DC and the Justice League what Disney and the MCU achieved with Marvel and the Avengers. Like
For sure.
I really believe that. There's so
Yeah,
much
for sure. They just
creativity that
didn't
went
let
in.
him. Yeah, no, dude. They just didn't let him continue. But he had such a singular vision, you know. And like you said, it was just it came together. It's just sad that then they gave it to now they give it to James Gunn. But I guess we'll see what he does with it. So far, we've only seen that Superman movie.
Yeah, the Superman movie was good, but James Gunn just I don't know. He's just I'm James Gunned out, man.
I am too.
Well, he's going in a very different direction. I liked Snyder's dark direction because it contrasted
Hmm.
the MCU. Like
Yeah, for sure.
it's good. I thought it was cool that we were doing something different. You know,
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
but now with James Gunn's thing, it's just another MCU. Um,
Yeah.
but I don't know. All that stuff's dying off anyway. Like when people are talking about like, oh, the James Gunn DC universe, it's like, what? Aren't we done with superheroes? Like, I feels like we're kind of done with
It
them.
does kind of seem that way. Even with Disney, they've like there's like no Disney anything.
Yeah,
Like there hasn't been like a Disney movie, I don't think. And I think Spider-Man's coming out, and then
that's right.
the Avengers later this year, but that's kind of it. I
That's
saw that
right.
they put out like a
Doomsday.
Punisher. There's like a Punisher special on Disney Plus right now. I'm curious about like a 50-minute Punisher thing. Uh,
Yeah,
but yeah,
I gotta check that out. I don't think it's gonna really be any good. I mean, maybe I don't know because
maybe.
Punisher himself, as the character, John Bernthal's Punisher, is good in the Daredevil series, but when he's on his own, I definitely don't think Netflix did or Disney like really understands that character, or not even just understands him, but has the balls to really do him correctly. I think
Mm.
there's just too much um sensitivity with that kind of character, in a superhero context. Because I mean, Punisher is essentially Dexter, but with guns. Like he likes killing criminals. Like he doesn't, but they toned him down and made him Wolverine, basically, like a guy who's just kind of minding his own business and then gets sucked into
Mhm.
things. Um,
Yeah,
and it's like, yeah, if you read I've read some Punisher
he's
comics and
not such a
stuff.
reactive character, is he?
No, he's constantly like moving around,
Doing
just
shit.
trying to
Yeah.
get into the next, find the next mob boss to kill. Actually, the guy who wrote the Boys comic wrote one of the standalone Punisher runs that was like an R-rated comic, and um, it begins with him going to like a mafioso family dinner with like a few hundred people and just shooting it up, basically just shooting everybody,
Mhm.
and then he like goes back. He does like a second pass, so like all the bodies on the ground. He does another pass to make sure they're dead. Like just shoots all the dead bodies.
Yeah, they're not gonna do that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Whereas like John Bernthal's Punisher is just like, ugh, I saw that there was a little girl in trouble.
Yeah.
um. All right. Well, this conversation's gone on for a while, but I guess in closing on that, what's your first order of business? You get Superman's powers.
My first order of business, if I get Superman's powers, isn't Superman like a god essentially?
Yeah,
Can
he's
just kind of do anything?
invulnerable. has eye lasers, can fly at, Mach whatever, like super fucking
Yeah,
fast. So you're invincible, you're a god, yeah.
yeah. 'Cause there's like even there's like I guess there's like just different comics because there's like comics that basically make him like God, where he can even see like atoms and shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, he can
Um,
see through things. Oh, and he has that like ice breath too. I always forget
is that
about
Iceman?
that.
It's such a random thing.
I know.
Uh, First order of business. I wouldn't even know what to do with myself, dude. Like if I had that kind of power, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. Um, to be honest, dude, I don't know.
How much of
Maybe
a
I would just
prick
like
would you be? How much of
not
a
at all. You know,
Yeah.
because the funny thing is that the thing that's preventing me from being a prick is not anything to do with like what I'm capable of. You know,
Right.
like I'm not asserting myself on people out in the world, or I'm not doing that just because I'm not Superman. You know,
Yeah.
but I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what I would do. I think I would just go flying around. Honestly, man, if I was Superman, I would just go flying around. I would just go everywhere. I would
Mhm.
go everywhere. I would just because then I have no boundaries. So I can see my family. You know, I can see anybody that I want. You know, friends and family. Um, I would go exploring. You know, because then
So
because I guess at
wholesome.
that point I'm huh?
So
'Cause at that point, I
wholesome.
have, like, no fear that anything can happen to me, so I would go exploring, I would go to countries I haven't seen before and meet new people and maybe go to the depth of the ocean and see what's down there, you know? I think
Hell
I would
yeah.
just do that. I think I would just use those powers to just be like, "What can I do to forward things in, I guess, in human knowledge?" You know, we haven't been to the bottom of the depth of the oceans, I would go down there. Also, ultimately, I would just use it to just go see people that I haven't seen in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I would do my first week. I wouldn't take over the world or anything like that. We can all say that, and some of us are being truthful, and some are lying. When they say that.
Because you're basically a nuclear bomb as a
Right.
person. You can do whatever you want.
Exactly. I don't think I have the stomach for that. I definitely don't have the
Yeah,
stomach to, like to harm innocent people or anything like that. Definitely don't have the
yeah,
stomach for that. So I definitely wouldn't be any sort of Homelander type or Soldier Boy type, even in the boys. I would. I think I would. I mean, I would do what you said, but then I think the another temptation that some people would have is like, oh well, I would, establish some kind of new world order type thing where society's under my rule and it's like a utopia, right? But it's kind of a fool's errand, like there's no
yeah,
such thing. There's no, if you look at history and you look at fiction, which is based off of good fictions based off of like actual human behavior. There's always problems, right? With like trying to establish some kind of utopia. And I definitely don't have that like, Thanos style thinking of like, this extreme utilitarian thinking where like, oh, I would
mhm,
cause like this amount of extreme harm here so that all these people over here could be happy and flourish. Like I don't think like that, you know. Um, so I think maybe the best thing I could think of that would be as close to that as I could get is to like just go make a list in descending order of the worst atrocities that are going on in the world and just
mhm.
try to put a dent in all of those. I mean, number one
Yeah,
at the top, I mean, what? Genocide probably. And then two is probably human trafficking, right? Like those are probably the top two worst things going on in the world, right? So, fly around, fly across the globe, fuck up some human traffickers. That's
promise. Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
yeah, for
that's the
sure.
best thing I could think
Yeah,
of because I do think I would have the stomach to deal out some justice to fuckers like that, especially with that
for
level of
sure.
power. I think I'd be like cool with it, you know.
Yeah,
Um, but
see,
yeah,
promise.
yeah, I think that's probably what I would do, you know.
All right, dude. Very, very admirable use of your powers. You wouldn't become a dictator or anything like that.
Nah, because again, that's like a fool's errand. Because it's like, all right, if you just want to take over the world, that's not even about anybody but you.
Right.
And that's the problem with someone like Homelander. It's like Homelander just cares about himself. And it's like, well, the point of being a leader is actually it's for other
Think about
people,
others. Yeah.
right? But then when you have characters like King Joffrey in Game of Thrones, it's like it's like, dude, you're just kind of a cornball. Like, you don't even know what being a king means. He's like, I'm the king. I'm the
Right.
king. And it's like, yeah, you're supposed to rule. You're supposed to like take care of your citizens. It's not like
Right.
they're not all here.
Self-serving.
Yeah, they're not
Yeah.
all here for you, you know? Like,
You're there for them. That's
yeah.
not what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. But again, like
Yeah.
with the whole becoming a dictator, even if I had good intentions with that, the road, as they say, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And like, I think a lot of dictators, like, you know, probably did rise to power thinking like, oh, I'm going to make this great and this thing and that thing
Sure.
great. But it was like, no, it's actually dog shit, you know?
Right.
Like, again, trying to establish some kind of totalitarian, utopic society, it's a fool's errand.
Yeah. They're just never sent you.
Exactly. So, I guess that's what I would do. But then there's the other temptation where it's just like, or I would just be fucking awesome and just like fly around and explore and not even like tell anybody what I could do. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I don't know. Anyways,
for anybody who wonder why I said awesome like that, was reference to the Miz in his opening song.
Yeah. Awesome! I came to play. There's a price to pay. So get down on your knees. I came to play.
I hope you guys enjoyed this episode that we've like only made references to WWE and not spent an hour talking about it like last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Real quick, I got before we do our recaps, I got some movie talk here. Plot holes. I got a list of plot holes here in movies, and I thought maybe we'd go over some of them and, you know, see if we agree, see if we disagree.
Okay.
All right. So the first one you have is A Quiet Place. Now, someone said, in A Quiet Place, why didn't they just close their doors? Doors can be loud, sure, but if you close the doors very, very quietly and slowly, they don't make much noise. Also, why did their youngest son walk last? Shouldn't he have been up front with the mom? Well, that I agree with. I
agree with.
Yeah,
that's like a common. That's like a common one. I think that's like a common like why was the youngest child unsupervised, like, kind of thing.
Yeah.
With the other ones, I don't really know. Like I don't remember that movie. Like although I saw that movie, I've seen that movie more times than I would like to admit.
Yeah.
Somebody who doesn't like that movie.
Same.
But I can't speak for like the other things about closing doors or whatever, but that one at the beginning, like, yeah, that's like a very much like what, like you guys were just being kind of like neglectful parents in that situation.
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about with the doors. I don't.
What am I talking about either?
I don't get what they're trying to say there. Someone said, why didn't they just live by the waterfall? Great point. Why did these idiots have a baby when there's monsters roaming about?
I'm not gonna fault them for that. Whatever, man.
Yeah, you don't know how that came about. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, I agree with them about the waterfall. They should have just lived by the waterfall.
Yeah, because it's true. They introduced it in the movie where like the dad takes his son there, and he's like, "We can just talk freely here. You can even yell." And it's like, well, why don't you guys live here?
Yeah,
but yeah,
instead of instead of like a cornfield where they lived. Yeah. All right, next we got Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. One Harry Potter plot hole that has bothered me since I was a kid is, how did Fred and George get the passphrase to the Marauders map? I solemnly swear that I am up to no good is very specific. So they said that in to the map, and that unlocked it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I guess that's a good question.
I'm not gonna. That's one of those things that I'm not gonna harp on, because that's probably one of those things that in the book is like very obvious, like, you know. In the movie, they just adapted, and they were like, "We have to save time. Let's just, you know." I'm not gonna harp on that one too much, especially because I don't remember those movies.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, someone said in Hocus Pocus. Have you seen Hocus Pocus?
I have not. No.
This one's for the audience. Someone says the witches are so amazed by the present day, like they see a paved road and a bus, and they're like, "What the fuck? What is this?" Half hour later, Betty Midler flies alongside the good guys and says, "Show me your license and registration." How would she know about that? That's more of a nitpick than a plot hole, I would say.
Yeah, that is just a nitpick. Yeah.
It's a dialogue. That's or a continuity error. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. I guess this is one's about the second Hocus Pocus. I barely remember that one. How can you
I haven't
ignore
seen the first or second.
the first one's a Halloween classic. That's a good Disney movie. How can you ignore the fact they made a whole scene dedicated to the fact that the devil gave them their powers, but in the second movie it was another witch? Right. That's true. That's true. I guess that's true. All right. Avengers Infinity War. Oh boy. People are Infinity War and Endgame. People just won't shut up about like plot holes and stuff in those movies. It's like, I don't know. It's like, look, there's only so much these writers can do to square that circle.
Right.
Like they just had heaps of god level characters dumped on their doorstep, and
yeah, there's not that much you can do. You just have to accept it.
Yeah, I mean, I think those writers did a good job with what they had. But think about it from their perspective. They get heaps of these godlike characters from previous movies just dumped on their doorstep, and the producers are like, all right, make it make sense. And
Make it make sense. Yeah, it's like, oh god, yeah, that's a task that nobody wants.
Right. All right, this person says, why didn't Strange open and close a portal on Thanos' arm and send the gauntlet
But
somewhere
yeah,
safe?
I've seen that one 1,000 times. I don't even know what to say about that. But whatever, man. Like, okay. Like, what can you say about that? Oh, God, yeah, he does have that power. He could have done that. I guess he didn't do it. You know,
Right.
he didn't think about
it. It's so funny. Why? Oh, they said especially when during the first fight in New York, after Bruce comes back, they show a portal cutting off an arm roughly the same size, separating it from the body. That is okay. That is a bit of an issue if they showed that.
Yeah,
because the first part read like the person was pulling it out of their ass, but I guess yeah,
you got a point. Yeah, they got a point.
Got a point. Jurassic Park. The Jurassic Park scientists not foreseeing that using the DNA from a species of frog that changes sex when it needs to would also make the female dinosaurs change sex due to a lack of males. And Alan Grant, an archaeologist, knew of this trait in this specific species of frogs, but not the biologists who picked that specific frog to fill the DNA holes. I don't know. I mean, just because you fill little bits of DNA sequence with some frog stuff doesn't necessarily mean the dinosaurs are going to inherit that ability.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, and this is another instance for me of just kind of like when I watch the Jurassic Park movies and they go through like the science of it all, I just kind of like eyes just kind of glaze over. And then when the dinosaur shows up, I gotta go, oh, dinosaur! You know, that's my experience with it.
A dinosaur.
It's here. You know?
Oh man, Disney's Dinosaur. How about that movie? That's a good movie.
It's all right.
That's a childhood classic right there. Disney's Dinosaur, incredibly underrated movie from 2000. Let me know in the comments if you guys like that movie. That's a good one. I really like that movie. It's like Land Before Time, but in live action, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this whole thing with dinosaurs, like, I mean, because the way I think the way DNA sequencing works is they just say like, oh, well, what could we fill here? Because we don't have this part of the sequence. Oh, let's take frog DNA. But dinosaurs are so different from frogs. I would have to assume that the part of the DNA that you're filling in with the frog DNA is very, very tiny. So it's actually more miraculous that they would actually get this highly specific full body ability from the frogs, of which the DNA that they share with them is probably very slight. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Aladdin. Have you seen Aladdin?
Yes, I have.
I don't remember. I know I watched it when I was a kid, but I don't remember anything from it. But maybe you will.
Oh, no, okay. I don't remember either, dude. I really don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see. Yeah, maybe I'll just skip that one then. Die Hard 2. You've seen Die Hard 2, right?
I've seen Die Hard 2, yes.
I have not seen 2, but I'll go ahead and read this anyway. Die Hard 2 is the worst. The premise of the movie is that terrorists took over one of the DC airports and
Yeah, the airport.
wouldn't clear planes to land. They are going to run out of fuel and crash. So when the pilots can't raise the tower, obviously they are going to try a different airport channel. And if somehow they couldn't contact anyone, I'm going to say they will just land at some other airport without permission rather than crashing. Yeah.
I don't know what to make of that. I don't know what to make of that either. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't really know what to make of that one. It's like, oh, okay. You know. It's fucking Die Hard 2, man. What can you say?
Someone said in the Little Mermaid, why didn't Ariel write Eric a message in the sand explaining that Ursula stole her voice? She knows how to write because she signed her name on Ursula's contract. Who thinks of this shit, man? Who fucking thinks of this?
These guys have time, man. They're watching these movies and being like, I have grievances. But even then, I say this as the person who was talking about how Rachel McAdams didn't zip her Ziploc sandwich.
Dude, my girl, she'll laugh when she hears this. She drives me nuts sometimes when we're watching movies because she'll point things like that out in every scene, and I'm like, oh my god. She'll be like, not that person not zipping up their sandwich, or like, in another scene she'll be like, not her putting on pink shoes with gray pants or something, whatever it is, she was like nitpick, and I'm like, oh my god, like.
Yeah, but you know me, you know that's also like the kind of like BS that I pull in movies.
Yeah,
it's like noticing random shit.
Yeah. Back to the Future Part 2. It's been a while since I've seen that movie, but
I haven't seen any of them.
You haven't seen Back to the Future?
Not 1, not 2, not 3.
Oh my god. I haven't seen 3, but you gotta see 1 at least. Damn, dude. That's crazy. Yep. Oh, that's a classic.
Right? I have some holes in my movie watching, man.
Yeah. You got some gaps, dude. I can't think of a better word. Why did they need to go to the future to solve some issue and then come back to the present, effectively nullifying whatever they did in the future? Why didn't Doc just tell Marty, hey, so your kid will be in trouble in a few years. Keep an eye out, will ya? Yeah, that's a good point. Snowpiercer. You've seen Snowpiercer, right?
Yes, I have.
Oh my god, dude! This is like, I think this is kind of tuna sandwich level right here. In the movie Snowpiercer, the character Edgar was born on the train. So where did he get an Irish accent from? No one else on the train has one, and even if his mother did, he would have a train accent from talking to the others his whole life.
He would have it.
That is true.
So this person is right.
Actually, that's not sandwich level. That actually is like that is.
They're right. They're right about that.
Some of these like mid-level, like weirdly specific, but also kind of like plot holes. Like for some reason, they make me laugh really hard. I don't know why.
Yeah, but I can see how somebody noticing that would like bother them. You're like, oh, this like really like it grinds my gears.
Yeah, sometimes you got to pick aesthetic over what makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
Toy Story 2. We're wrapping up here. If Woody is an old family toy, which makes sense because he was apparently made in the 50s, then why does he not seem to have any memory of being owned by anyone but Andy? I wouldn't mind as much if it wasn't hugely central to the entire plot of the movie that he's afraid of Andy outgrowing him. That's true.
That's true.
It's true. I don't know. Maybe
Woody's schizophrenic.
Maybe
have you thought about that?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, maybe he's just like an actual guy who thinks he's a toy. Right. Or maybe he's a toy who somehow has a human disease. Cars. Oh, I've heard this one before. This one's hilarious. How are new cars made in the Cars series? Better, right. I'll add to that. Better yet, how do they even build anything in the Cars series? They don't have thumbs. They don't have hands. But they have these stadiums everywhere.
Yeah, those cars movies don't make any fucking sense.
we
They don't
have
make any fucking sense.
we have two full movies about generations of cars, but only know that they have regular carpets via two. Do cars have living babies like mammals? or or car eggs? Are they built? If they are built by who? Why do car bugs exist?
Who's car God, man?
Yeah.
That's why the real questions. That's what Disney is full of cowards, man. Those are the questions they're afraid to answer.
They're full of cowards. Holy shit, man. That's so funny. What then this person says, why are there crop dusters if no one eats food? That's pretty funny. Dude, do cars have living babies like mammals? That is the funniest shit I've ever seen.
I think the movie that we watched, Titan, is the origin of how cars became a thing.
That is true. Dude,
She has
that's
sex with a car.
that's a prequel to Cars, I bet.
Yeah, there's a car prequel.
Yeah. All right, last couple. The Polar Express. And the Polar Express is clearly, yeah, I know this one. It is clearly shown that Santa and the North Pole exist. Therefore, shouldn't it stand to reason that everyone in the world believes in Santa? The boys' parents can't hear the bell because they don't believe, but how the hell did the presents get their parents? Yeah, I mean, that's the problem with every Santa movie, is that the parents don't believe. I mean,
Right.
Tim Allen's The Santa Claus is the same thing. They're like, oh my God, he believes he's Santa. Maybe the parents do believe in Santa in that movie. They just think that Tim Allen's going crazy because, I don't know. Regardless of the situation, that is a problem in those Santa movies.
Yes.
Independence Day. At a time when we could barely make a Mac talk to a PC, you're telling me that they figured out how to upload a virus on an alien operating system. Yeah, how did... Exactly. I haven't even seen that movie, and the second I heard that as a kid, I was like, wait, don't the aliens have like different hardware? You could just plug a flash drive into... The aliens have a
Right.
USB drive.
Yeah, and this is how we're gonna get them. It's like, okay. Yeah. What if they had like, because in that movie, when the movie came out, they only had like USB like 2 ports or whatever. It's like, what if they were like so advanced
Right.
that even though they had USB ports, they were like different, like, you know, they had like like Thunderbolts or like USB Cs or something. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude. What if aliens came down and they had the whatever the I think it's USB Cs, these annoying fucking ones that Apple makes that don't work on like other things. So then you're like, oh, I can't charge my fucking AirPods because I need to go find my MacBook
Yeah, exactly.
charger.
Like, what if they just had their own thing and it's like, oh, I can't access this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Last one, Predator. The Predator sees heat signatures, but also only hunts when it's really hot out. So wouldn't they be functionally blind to most prey in their optimal environment? How exactly did evolution settle on that? This actually confounded the crew of the movie too. They eventually had to get the effect they wanted in post-production. I don't know. I mean, I don't even know how like thermal vision works.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
Guess
I
it
don't
just, like-
think it works that way.
It just only catches like heat signatures.
Yeah. I mean, wouldn't it look the way it does if you're in the jungle? I mean, don't plants emit less heat than a body? Therefore, I mean, I don't see a problem with that. But I don't know. I don't know the science. I'm too stupid to make up my own mind. Okay.
The answer to that question is Arnold still survives. He still survives.
Yeah.
It still goes this way that it played out.
Right.
Uh,
All right, Edward, give us your recap and we'll cut these fine folks loose.
Very short one for me. I've been listening to Run-DMC, who are just like a old 80s hip hop group. I listened to their Racing Hell album, which again is just 80s hip hop. So if you like that old kind of boom bap, like very like, you know, like 1, 2, 3 ABC kind of rhymes, then that's what it is, you know. Which
Dude,
again, I always like struggle with
I
that.
fucking lost it the first time you like impersonated that type of rap. It's like I
it's
went
funny
down
because,
to
you
the
know-
store to get some milk. Woohoo! Ha ha!
But it's always like that, man. And it's funny because I've been putting myself through this, so I've had to listen to a lot of like, you know, a lot of these guys like Run DMC or LL Cool J or Rakim, like all of these like old acts, and they're all the same. And with Run DMC, it's kind of more of the same again. They have songs called like Peter Piper or you know My Adidas, stuff like that. What can I say? The songs kind of speak for themselves. But they also do in this album. This album's kind of iconic because this had like a crossover song. He has an album called "Walk This Way" with Aerosmith. That
Right,
was like a
right.
really big deal back then. And I think Rick Rubin had like a hand on producing the song and making the whole thing happen. And it also has a song "It's Tricky," which is a really catchy song, like a really great like kind of like blend of pop and hip hop.
Hmm.
So I thought that was pretty nice. So that's Run DMC. I'm out of the R's and I started the S. And I started listening to Sadie, and her album Diamond Life. This album right here,
You mean
which
Sade?
is Sade. That's right, not Sadie. Sade. It's funny because I had like a bit where I was gonna ask you like how is this pronounced because and somehow I myself forgot that it's Sade, not Sadie. But yeah, I listened to Diamond Life, which is great. It's funny because the Apple Music description of it says Sade's Diamond Life is one of the most fully realized debut albums of the last 40 years. And I think that's actually true. It's interesting when you listen to this album, this is her first album, but it just feels like someone's like third or fourth album. Like her sound is just fully realized. Like it's just completely there. This like R&B, pop, and like blues fusion that she's doing. And the album is kind of like a perfect album. Every single song just works perfectly. So I'm making my way through there, and that's a high recommendation to listen to Sade's out Diamond Life.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Um,
She's great.
yeah, but that's it for me and my album recaps.
Awesome. Awesome. The only other movie that I watched over this past week was Doctor Sleep. That was a rewatch for
But you
me.
watched that again?
Yeah, and my girl had never seen it, and we had just watched. She had just watched The Shining for the first time, so I figured we'd follow up with that.
Mm.
And Doctor Sleep is it's really good. I mean, I think it's a really solid follow up to The Shining. Like watching it back to back with The Shining the way I did this time around, uh, it really helped me to realize like that Doctor Sleep I think is a worthy sequel. I think Mike Flanagan did a great job with that movie.
Oh,
Um,
sure, dude. More
yeah.
like Doctor Snooze Fest. That's,
No,
that's one of the
man.
most boring movies I've seen in my
It's weird to me that you can get bored during that movie though and
life.
not get bored during The Shining. Like I don't know. I don't get that, dude, cuz like they're
Yeah,
very similar. I get that Doctor Sleep is more um is a little less art house and a little more popcorn, but
yeah.
only slightly. I only thought it was slightly more popcorn than The Shining. I
I
think that it
disagree
still
completely.
has that art house flair to it, and
Yeah.
it still it feels like it felt. And I was surprised going back to it. It really felt elevated to me. I was like, oh, this actually is close to the quality of Kubrick's Shining. And for those out there, like I was thinking about this, and I knew how blasphemous that would kind of sound, but I mean, the thing is, man, I don't know. I think people have kind of like a sort of bias toward older movies. I think I'm not accusing you of this. If you don't like Doctor Sleep, that's one thing. But I don't think it's blasphemy to say that like, oh, Doctor Sleep approaches the same quality as Kubrick's Shining. I don't think it's at that level, but I think it approaches it. And
It's
what?
not blasphemy if you like the movie. Like for me, for my experience that I've had with that film, I wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
But like if you actually do see the value in that movie, then I can see that for sure.
Yeah, well, no, I definitely do. I mean, I don't think it's anyone would think it's blasphemy for liking the movie, but I think there are some people that would find it blasphemous that that someone would say like when some people do say, I'm not the only person that say, oh, it approaches the quality of Kubrick's, or some people think it's as good as The Shining, which I don't think so, but I think it's a fair take. Because I think, and I'll go on record, I've said this before, I do prefer pre-millennial movies. I prefer movies from, like before the year 2000. That is my preference. Like most of the time, I would rather watch a movie that was made before the year 2000, and definitely before like the 2010s. But definitely before the year 2000. I think I just prefer pre-millennial movies. But at the same time, I don't think like you know people try to talk like, oh, Kubrick or Francis Ford Coppola were like gods or something, and it's like, no, dude, they were just guys who made some movies. You know what I mean? And like some of the movies were great, and some of them
Yeah,
were
for
not
sure.
so great. I mean,
Yeah, but the things you have to remember about me when you present me this, you know, face that you have
yeah, yeah,
is that I hate Mike Flanagan.
yeah,
I am like a certified Mike Flanagan hater. So so I'm always gonna give you pushback on
yeah.
Mike Flanagan specifically.
Yeah, I'm mixed on Mike Flanagan. I think some of the stuff he's done is really good, and I think some of the stuff he's done is pretty mid. I think it just depends on what it is. I think he does have sort of this softy approach to horror, where there are some like pretty horrific things that happen in some of his things, but overall the whole thing feels just kind of tame and a bit watered down, a bit diluted, a bit like safe. I
Mhm.
will say, I that said, in Doctor Sleep has one of the most shocking scenes
Yeah,
in horror movies.
yeah, with that little boy.
They torture. I forgot. I remembered they killed him. They torture a little boy
Hmm.
to death on screen in that movie.
Yeah.
I was shocked that Mike Flanagan had the balls to go there. Um, you know, anyway, those are my thoughts on Doctor Sleep. I think it's a good film and a worthy follow up to Kubrick's original. As I think the
Yeah.
book King's book was a worthy follow up to the original Shining book, which I just finished today, actually. And the Shining book is awesome. It works on a really similar level to the movie. It's not as different from the movie as people make it out to be. There are some key differences, but it overall it's I was actually surprised by how closely it resembled the movie. You have like all of the same beats. One of the main things that's very different, besides the characterization of Jack, is the chef Halloran, who actually lives in the book versus gets axed in the movie. Um,
Mhm.
he actually gets them. He's the one who gets them out of there in the book. Um, but it works on a very similar level to the movie, but in book form. It's a very literary book, where we spend it's a lot of interiority, a lot of time in characters' heads. You get time in not only Jack's head, where I would say most of the time is spent, but you get a lot of time in Danny's head. The character of Wendy is far, far stronger in the book. I don't think that's even up for. I don't think that's. I mean, that's definitely not a controversial statement. That was one of King's main gripes with the movie, was they totally watered down the Wendy character. In the book, she's actually a very interesting character. A lot of that comes out through interiority and being in her thoughts, because it's a book. Um, but yeah, very gothic, very literary novel. It's great. One thing that I found very interesting, the whole Grady scene in the bathroom in the movie, word for word from the book, almost word for
Really?
word. Yeah, I was like, oh
Huh.
shit, like this was just ripped straight from the book and put in the movie. So that's what I'm saying. Like and there's other things that are ripped straight from the book that you're kind of surprised. The guy in the bear costume, that's in the
Mhm.
book, but he's in a dog costume. But whatever, I mean, it. There's a scene where there's a guy in a fucking full body dog costume, and you're like, oh fuck, that's where you got they just made it a bear in the movie so it can match the teddy bear that you see
Yeah.
earlier. But yeah, so great book and a great movie. I like them both, and I think they both are awesome for what they are. Um, and then the other nonfiction side of things, I'm reading one of the self-help classics right now, Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. Dumb title. Tony Robbins is kind of a goofball, but it's an hour and a half. It was on this list.
He does look like a goofball too.
Oh yeah, there's one of the few newer Family Guy episodes I've seen. There's a episode of Family Guy with I don't think Tony Robbins played himself. He might have, but the whole episode rips on Tony Robbins, and he's trying to like get Peter to stop being a loser. Yeah, I think I've said this before, but I think really the point of a lot of these self-development books, whether it's books about, making money or unlocking a part of your mindset or whatever, I think it's less about extracting some profound piece of information, and it's more about rewriting these pathways into your brain, and that will kind of give you a good mindset. So I do like books like this. I'm not into like woo-woo stuff, and I know Awaken the Giant Within borders on that. I definitely am not into like woo-woo spiritual stuff and all that. I won't touch stuff like that. Anything that has to do with like awaken this inner thing or open your third eye, like, you can feed that shit to the squirrels, man. I don't need any of that bullshit.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that stuff too is just like magical thinking, and it's like it's procrastination is what it is, in my opinion too.
Right.
It's just a way to be like, oh, I'll make my crystals manifest whatever the fuck, instead of actually going out and getting it.
Doing something.
Yeah, going after it. And then finally, The Boys has one episode left. Anyone listening who watched episode 7, you're probably as disappointed as I am or more. This show sucks, or this final season sucks.
Oh,
it's terrible. It's awful. It's so bad. The penultimate episode felt like an episode 3 of the final season. Every penultimate episode of every great show, like the ending sets you up for this big finale where you're like, oh shit, it leaves you on a cliffhanger, whether it's Walter White in the bar, leaving the bar to go on his last, run as Eisenberg, Tony Soprano falling asleep with a shotgun, waiting for someone to come to the door, whatever it is. Great penultimate episodes, often even better than the finales of shows. Those are sometimes the best episodes of TV shows. Whatever this shit was last night, Homelander becomes a god, and his first order of business is to plan a theme park. Dude, like, we have been waiting since season 1 for Homelander to stop caring about what people think of him and just let loose and go nuts and laser a crowd of like 1,000 people. That's like one of the big things of the show is you're just waiting for this guy to snap. And we have one episode left and we have not seen that yet. And I'm like, and they have so much to wrap up in that final hour. Dude, I don't know how they're going to do it, but this was the most disappointing final season of a show since Game of Thrones. This was like, but unlike Game of Thrones, the writing was I would say even more on the wall in the previous season. And I called it, like before this season, I called it on the show. I said, yeah, if I had to guess, I would say they're not turning this ship around, because of the previous season. It's one of those things where you watch it and you're like, I cannot believe that working writers actually wrote this. Like, people who get paid, like the people that actually made it into a TV writer's room wrote this. It boggles my mind, dude. So, in the words of Mr. Plinkett, The Boys season 5 is the most disappointing thing since The Boys season 4.
Yeah.
And now, as he also said, I don't even really want to go watch the last episode next week, but it's like an autopsy. You don't want to go, but you gotta show up to find out what killed it.
Yeah.
So we're just we'll get it over with next week.
That sucks, dude.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, Homelander's gotta die. We know that. We'll see if it's satisfying. I doubt it. What do you got for us next week, Edward?
Wait and see. I have a couple of choices.
Right.
But for anybody listening, it will be down in the description because Jake will know by the time that this episode comes up. So just go down there and it will say next, and you'll know what we're watching next.
All righty. Well, folks, thanks for listening. Have a great week, and we will see you on the next one.
Okay, everybody. Next time on Film Tangents.